So
Yes, it's not separate.
yeah, sometimes Janice used to send it separate, so I think that's what was going on.
Okay. You think that'd be easier? We can make that change.
I mean, it's fine being on the minutes. I think it's easier to access for people sometimes, just to be able to go on that link and just be able to type that in.
Okay.
No extra work, just if it works.
Yeah, well, of course, I'm the last person on the staff you want to ask about anything technical, but it shouldn't matter.
Okay.
I don't believe it would make a difference. We just always have to post it on the website as well.
Oh yeah, that's right.
So, and post it in the building. So if
Mhm.
we try to keep the agenda to one page, but that doesn't always work.
Right.
So I guess it just sort of depends, but we can do whatever will be easiest for the board.
Okay. And Happy New Year to everybody I haven't seen since the New Year.
That's right.
Hey,
Happy New Year,
Barbara.
everybody.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Hey,
January is
Tom.
almost over.
It is.
I hope it takes the Arctic cold with it. No more.
Right.
Yeah.
We were just really spoiled because this December had to be one of the mildest ones I recall. Just the last couple of weeks, I can do without the ice.
Mhm.
Yeah, the ice is well. Yeah.
Where's our chairperson tonight?
That's what I was gonna ask.
I talked to him earlier, so I know he's alive.
I hope so, Pam.
That's about the minimum we can all expect of each other. Being alive.
I'll shoot him another.
Yeah, he may
We're
be
waiting
link.
for you. And you don't have a vice chair, do you?
We do not.
So the next person in line would be Secretary Walker to conduct the meetings.
I could conduct the meeting, but I have a nomination for the vice chair.
I can barely hear you though, Pam. What's going on?
Wait a second. I'm trying to get my headphones to work. They won't work. Now I lost you guys. Oh, there you are. What did you ask me?
I was saying I can barely hear you.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is with my laptop.
Is your audio up?
Yeah. I'll try this. Does that help?
Not for me. What can everybody else hear, Secretary Walker?
It's just a little low. I can hear, but it's just a little low.
I turned my Bluetooth off. That may have been interfering. Is that better?
I can't hear you, but you're not your usually strong voice self.
I'm trying to mellow, Ruby.
This is no time to mellow.
Hard. Okay, is that any better?
That's much better.
Mhm.
Okay.
There you are. I just let's see.
I had
I'm
to
hoping
click
he's
on.
not having issues. I'm just gonna see if I can call.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did speak earlier and he was saying that he had some pipe issues at the church.
Oh, fun.
Forwarded to an automatic voice message system.
Well, he's not answering. He didn't answer.
We could do the roll and approve the minutes while we wait for him.
I don't know. I count that you have 4, so you actually need a 5th,
Oh,
unless
that's
I'm counting
true.
incorrectly.
Nope, you're right. That's-
Oh, it's just 4.
Is James not on? Because I did
I'm
hear
here.
from him.
James and Tom are on.
Oh, there's
myself
James.
and
He's
Sam.
there.
Mhm.
Our niece is not on yet, but I sent her the link a few minutes ago, so.
Okay. That's right. We don't have a quorum.
Good, I don't have to do any work.
Well,
Until the boss gets here.
How long do we try before we have to throw in the towel? Is there a set?
well,
Um,
you don't have a rule that governs that.
Okay.
You don't have a rule for that. We could skip down to number 4, though. Those would not require a vote. If Barb, yeah, I just,
well, actually, I mean, to talk about any public business, you really need to wait for your quorum. I'm
have oh,
sorry.
really? We can't talk about the 1 or 2 sentence updates I have? Okay, whatever you say.
So we're gonna give it a time or?
It's
It is
almost
5:13.
5:13 right now. I used to give professors 15 minutes, and here's Reverend Ray calling me back.
Some of the judges feel the same way.
I was gonna put myself on mute.
Yeah, but judges have a way to make you pay.
Yeah.
We're gonna give you the limit of 15 minutes. Okay, we'll wait. Okay, you got 1 minute. Yeah. He said he had just a minor emergency. And he is coming on now.
I wonder what happened to Arnitha. She
I don't
called
know.
me
Do I need to,
and I
do I need
emailed
to
it
try
to
and
her.
call her too?
Yeah, go ahead, because she called me and I emailed it to her, but maybe it wasn't a good link.
Now I don't have her cell number, so I'm gonna have to go to the book for her.
I have it if I can text it to you. I don't want to say it on here.
Oh. You have it, Pam?
Yeah, oops, wait a minute, I'll try to call her.
Okay.
The Zoom link. You should, all you should have to do is click on that link. Or do you want to call in?
Oh, okay. Okay, Reverend Gray must be having problems. He's calling
ID.
back.
Yeah, there's an ID code and then there's a passcode.
Okay, you want to resend?
Okay.
Yeah, you may have to, yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
have
Go ahead and resend it to him
822-0600?
too.
Hold on.
Okay, the passcode is 795085.
Okay,
Praise the Lord.
Gotcha.
You're in?
You want it by text or email? Okay, okay. Bye. I didn't send her everything she needed. Okay, Arnitha, be on in a second.
Unmute.
There you are.
Here I are. Here. Hey there, what's up, Tom?
Hey, Reverend.
Man, I haven't seen you since last year.
I know, time flies.
And is my friend James is on there somewhere. I listen, I talk to Pam all the time. That's my sister, so I talk to her all the time. So
Well, I'm glad you talked to somebody because you don't answer the phone.
wait a minute, now, I just text you. I just text you again today, Miss Hillary.
No, you did not.
I did. Hold, check
It
your
must be a different Hillary.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on. I only know one. The only
He
other
doesn't wa-
Hillary I know is Hillary
He doesn't
Banks.
want to
and
talk
she's
to me tonight because we're disagreeing.
Well, I don't have a problem with disagreeing with anybody. I'm gonna still talk to you. No, Miss Hillary, I did text, and the number I text was 314-9.
Well, that you can stop right there. One,
Yeah, we don't want to advertise her number.
that's the
I
one
know.
thing, but that's the wrong number, and that's not the number we've been texting. That's not my number.
Oh, that's the wrong number. Well, I've got two of them. You're right. My bad.
And it was supposed to be a follow-up days ago. This is Monday, Reverend Gray.
Read my text.
Do you see
The
there's
one
no
that I sent to the wrong
dialogue?
number. Read the one I sent to the wrong number.
I don't want to see it.
Be nice.
I can't.
Hey, now I'm gonna turn around and send this.
Reverend
Now
Gray,
I'm gonna
I
send it
need
to the
you
right
to
number.
adjust your audio as well.
Yeah, his is a little low.
Mm-hmm.
Mine is?
Yes.
Okay. Ooh, you're right. Okay. I'm glad it was down. Everybody wouldn't hear you fussing at me. Okay. Is it good now? It's really up as high as it'll go.
It's worse when you lean back, better when you were leaning forward. So it must have
So you're
something
going
to
with the
do with the
song.
positioning
You're going
of
with the
your.
song that said lean back, lean back. That's what you're going with. Is that what we're doing tonight? Is that what we're doing tonight? Okay, it's a new year.
I had to go into the Zoom audio and hit adjust automatically.
Oh,
Oh,
Mine wasn't working either.
all right. Hillary, did you get my text this time?
I'm not looking at text right now.
Hillary, listen, you got to. It's important.
well,
And
we were
listen.
waiting for.
Onitha.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. I'm begging on here. Wait a minute. I'm begging.
But 5 is quorum though. We could technically
Yes.
start. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
So we could technically, I'm just trying to give her the.
Oh, that's
I'm trying
fine.
give
I
her
just
the
want to make
benefit
sure I
that y'all
heard it
gave
right.
me. Hey, listen, I'm trying to give her the benefit that y'all gave me. Oh, bless y'all's heart. Did you get it?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think she has a phone number. Wait a minute.
Go ahead and put his number out to the public.
Everybody
The
knows my
public
number.
probably already has his number.
That's
Everybody knows
true.
my number.
That's true.
Man, you just don't know. You just don't know. My wife looks at me sometimes, just shakes her head. As I, they just, what's that? Shake my head. That shake my head. What? Yeah,
Shaking my head.
that's what my wife she just. I'm trying to do better. I am trying to do better. I'm trying to be a better person.
Always good.
Wait a minute, I know what I'm gonna do. Here we go. All right. I think that we are going. I just one more text and then we ready. I'm good. We're gonna go ahead and start. And we have a quorum, and so we'll just go ahead and we're gonna welcome everybody to our first meeting of 2024. Let's call the meeting to order, and we're going to call the roll. James Darm Jr. Is James on mute?
He is on mute.
Present.
There you go. Hillary Stuckey,
Present.
Pam Walker,
Present.
Thomas Lawson,
Present.
Onitha Lewis Walls. Well, we do have a quorum, but we know she's getting on, so we can at least begin The minutes from the previous meeting of November 13th was sent out. Is there a motion to approve? Y'all, please excuse, let me go on mute. Is there a motion to approve the minutes of November 13th?
I motion we approve the minutes.
I'll second it.
Seconder,
I'll second.
properly moved in second that we approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
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 Contrary
Here,
minded.
may I
Oh, I'm
remind-
sorry, we need a picture. We need a picture vote. Thank you, Barbara. We'll go down the road. We need a picture vote. In favor of approving the minutes, James Darm,
Aye.
Hillary Stuckey.
I'm trying to get my picture on.
Okay, all right. Hillary Stuckey,
Aye.
Pam Walker,
Aye.
Thomas Lawson,
Aye.
Ornitha Lewis Walls. And for the sake of the record, I vote aye. Motion approved. Chair's report. First thing is vacancies. We know we have 3 vacancies. I did reach out to the mayor's office today, and let me read the response that I got. Basically, I spoke to the mayor's chief of staff today, and the response was that they are working on it. They do understand that there is a shortage, and the unfortunate thing is that according to the mayor's office and the person responsible for receiving applications for boards and commissions, and vetting those, is that we don't have any takers. The chief of staff said they talked to the president of the Public Safety Committee about renewing existing board members. They typically would like them to submit new information to assure it's up to speed. I do know that some board members have already gone through that process. The chair of the Public Safety Committee, the vice chair has reached out today. Vice Chair Aldridge has reached out, and so they are focusing on existing board members first. And my understanding is they're moving with that. They are looking at a meeting, potentially a hearing on that for the 8th of February. And so they obviously the priority is to keep the existing board members, but they indicated that they are having a problem with getting people to submit applications. Now, I've talked to a couple of people and asked them to submit applications. So I will follow up. They did indicate that if the board knew of people who we felt were qualified to serve on the board, that we could either send them the link or get that information to them. The 3 positions, one, the under 24 position, one is the ex-offender position. And Ruby, I'm not sure what the third one it was. It might have been nonprofit, representing a nonprofit. But there are 3. So board members, if
It
you
would
know
be
of
an advocate within the industry,
okay,
such as Mike Milton was.
right.
So it
So
would be somebody corresponding to his position.
okay. So if anyone knows anyone, please. I do understand for the police oversight, they've got all kind of applications. But for DFOB, none, from my understanding. So board members, please be mindful of that. But again, in conversation with the mayor's office and the Public Safety Committee, they are looking to move forward pretty quick to at least confirm existing board members who have expressed an interest to stay on the board.
Chairman, I'm sorry, do people know that they can go to the city website and look up boards and commissions and they can actually apply right on the city website?
Yes, and we've put that information out, Barbara. I know that in talking to Ruby today, it's been out on our website. We've sent it out throughout our networks as well. And so we'll reiterate that. I think that we have to do that over again. But please, we need to get back to full capacity as soon as possible. And y'all, please forgive my dogs in the background. I've got 2 German Shepherds, and I don't know what the problem is tonight. Normally, they only act like this when I'm on the call. So, as far as training, update on training and orientation, I'm happy to say that every board member on this call are fully trained. All board members are fully trained. All have received the orientation. And
Chair.
so, yes.
I'm missing a training. They didn't
What
show
training?
up one day
Oh,
when
James, you messed up my announcement. What training is that?
The second part, Tom's done. We both showed up at the police academy
Okay.
3 weeks ago, and nobody else did. Our trainer showed up, but there wasn't anybody to let us in the building. So I'm still missing, I think, part 1
Okay.
of and I think I missed Sunshine as well. That was on me though.
All right. All right. So I guess we have to get that done. I guess that the information I got from the city, because I've got information from the city that everybody was completed. So I guess that the city was not informed that no one let you in. So they were assuming that class. See, we have trust. See, we have board members with integrity.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. So I'll reach out to Nicole and we'll get that done hopefully before the next board meeting. So we have 5 out of 6 who have completed everything.
Chairman,
thank you
may I say,
yeah.
if James needs the sunshine law training, I did that. I can do it as a tutorial. He can call me and we can do it anytime. We could do it at a lunch hour. We can do it anytime you want. We could do it virtually. So that will make that very, very easy.
Okay. Yeah, it had been scheduled in advance and I blanked on it and it was all on me. That was my fault.
It's all good. It's all good. So either James or Barbara, can you we'll have Ruby send the information. We'll ask Ruby to send the information and to connect the 2 of you so that you can get that training done on whatever schedule is most convenient for both of you. And I'll reach out to Nicole regarding the orientation part. Okay. Update on board receipt of DFOB. I'm blanking out on that. Ruby, what do I have to report on that? Is Ruby still with us? I
You're
blanked out
asking
on
me about the
on C, the update on board receipt.
Oh, okay. That was going to be in conjunction with everyone having completed the training.
Okay.
Such that staff could then begin sending complaints that we receive directly to the board, at least perhaps in some redacted form.
Gotcha.
But that
So
it was tied
complaints.
to the completion of training that we were anticipating.
Okay. All right. So as I said, we know that we have 5 members and we will attempt to get this training done. James, I'll reach out to you later on and find out what your schedule looks like, and we'll coordinate that with Nicole. All right. Any questions on anything that I have said? I don't think we're going to have a long meeting tonight, but if there are no questions, DFOB complaints. You know, if I had just simply read all of it, then I would have been fine. All right. So thank you. So let me be clear. does this mean that because we only have 5 out of 6, that the board cannot receive the complaints? I mean, my understanding is that board members who have completed it, they can receive complaints, correct?
I'm not certain of that. That's a question, I think, for the Director of Public Safety.
Okay.
I mean, I'm happy with being left out of the loop until I'm finished. I mean,
No way. I did reach out to the director's office today and asked for a meeting for this week so that we can clarify some issues that have come up, and I am still waiting. So I will make sure that I put that on the agenda. But I do know, Ruby, that pre this meeting, those of us who did complete everything were privy to certain information. And so I'll follow up with that. But that was
Okay.
my understanding. I mean, prior to this.
And also how the board would like to receive them.
Right.
As you know, there is a backlog. We did get access to a detainee. There still needs to be probably some logistics worked out, and I've requested a meeting so that we can at least clarify all of that. But I just wanted to add that staff was able to have access to one detainee that had filed a complaint.
Would it make sense that your office or your staff, your office would make a recommendation to us as to the best way to
Certainly.
receive that information, right? Whatever is most confidential and secure. So I'm sure that once you make that recommendation to us, I'm sure that we can move on with that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Ruby. So item number 4, update.
Reverend Gray,
Yes.
before we move on, I don't know if I should have brought it up under vacancies or if it's new business, but our vice chair position is vacant. So we need to
Right.
talk about what we want to do about that.
I was going to bring that up under new business.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Pam. I know that's why I did that. Grandmama say, don't poke the bear. Whatever you do, don't poke. Number 4, update, staff reports. Ruby, I'll turn it over to you.
Well, just very briefly, you know that per the chair's request, the staff did prepare an annual report, which wound up being a combination annual and quarterly report. The draft was submitted to the board in October, and it is currently still under review by the Director of Public Safety. So I just didn't want that left out there. With respect to the state audit, Barb Burkett has been working tirelessly with us with respect to the state audit. There was a tremendous volume of information that was requested. Louisa and Barb have worked on that, and Ophelia. The city councilor's office accepted responsibility for redacting for confidentiality purposes, as well as bait stamping, which is typically done to identify the exhibits and eating. But in the process of doing all of that, much of what was assembled was disassembled, requiring our office, working with Barb again, to kind of recollate that and identify the portions and parts so that it does make sense. But the city council's office has completed their review.
Okay.
And we got the last volume of information from them, I think maybe last week. So that will soon be completed. And we're prepared to go ahead and send it off to the auditor. If you recall, Reverend Gray, the audit request was directed to you.
Yes.
And so what I would suggest is that we simply hold those that volume of information that will go to the state auditor in the office for the board to review at any time rather than trying to mail it all out, if that's
Okay.
okay with the board. So if anybody who wants to see the information is welcome to come to the office, and we'll provide you with access to
Do
what's
any
done.
board members have any objection to that recommendation? All right, seeing that no board
Okay.
members, yes.
And
Okay.
the only other presentation was on the proposed draft of the policies and procedures. The
Okay.
board members got that draft back on December 10th, I believe. And this was the draft that was facilitated, coordinated for collaboration by all of the officers identified in the ordinance, and Nicole Barden accepted responsibility for doing that back in May. And so a great deal of work went into preparing it, and a great deal of work went into reviewing it so that hopefully we could all get on the same page in terms of expectations with respect to the policies and procedures. Now, you will recall the board adopted its own rules and processes for the conduct of its meetings. So that's separate and apart.
Right.
From the policies and procedures that are supposed to address how the investigative staff investigates the professional standards inquiries and the complaints of allegations on police misconduct as well as correctional officers misconduct. So those are two sets of policies and procedures that we're talking about. So I would, however you would like to proceed, we are presenting both the draft policies that Nicole Barton prepared, as well as DCO's staff recommendations regarding those policies and procedures. So whatever the board's pleasure is, we're prepared to work with.
All right, and before we, ask the board members if they have any questions prior to taking any action on it, and I know that all the board members have been following the ordinance and the changes of the ordinance. My interpretation and understanding of the ordinance stated, and I have both the original policies and procedures that the board and the staff with our former commissioner prepared. That document was sent to all of the collaborative partners per the ordinance. And my understanding of that is that once that collaborative process was completed, then the ordinance with recommendations from the collaborative partners went to the staff. And then the staff would review, the staff would make recommendations, and then the finished product would come to the board. That's my understanding of the ordinance, and that's my understanding of the process.
I'm sorry, can you tell me what you mean by the finished product?
Well, when I say finished product, and that's probably my own jargon.
See, I'm having a hard time hearing you, Reverend.
I'm gonna lean in. I don't want to lean in too far because I don't want people to see all this sleepy under my eye. Is that when I say finished product, I'm talking about the recommendations that the initial recommendations from the board, which went through the process. At the end of that process, that collaborative process, we received, and I'll say for lack Betty, from Nicole Barton's office, the Detention Facility Oversight Board Policy and Procedures. That's what we received, the draft. That draft that we received from Ms. Barton then went to the staff.
Correct.
And then the staff made recommendations based upon the draft.
Correct.
And then what the staff is presenting to us this evening is the draft with their recommendations, with their recommendations.
Yes.
Okay.
And there was a combination of, there was a narrative explaining what the division was recommending in terms of specific provisions. And there was a strike through, there was an edit page.
Right.
That also included the rationales for the request or recommendation that the division is making. By
Okay.
and large, there weren't a whole lot of changes. You know, we're prepared to work with, especially a collaborative document, but there were some provisions that we just didn't think were workable.
Right.
You know, specifically, there was a one-day turnaround on writing a report of an interview with detainees unrecorded. That can't happen right now. That I can't see that happening even if we're fully staffed.
Right.
And even, you know, it's still a lot of work, and we haven't even gotten to the point of completing investigations yet. And so we thought, you know, very seriously, we put a lot of time, I convened the entire staff to review this. And then of course I spent a lot of time looking at all of the documents,
Right.
the ordinances, the draft, you know, the what we put together to come up with what we felt was best for implementation by the staff. And so I would ask that the board look very closely at that. We're prepared to answer any questions that the board might have, or we can review the provisions, whatever will facilitate the most informed decision by the board, we are prepared to do.
All right. And I only have two questions. And so the staff recommendations were sent out on December 10th. And that's one of the things. And I asked Deputy Commissioner Bonner to send them out to the board in advance so that the board would have an opportunity to review the staff recommendations before this meeting. And so thank you very much for making that happen. The other two questions I had before we open it up for board questions is, you and most of the staff have been engaged in this process since the inception of the DFOB. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you and the board, per the ordinance, are the only ones responsible for investigating complaints. It's your staff are responsible for investigating complaints that come through the DFOB.
Correct.
Okay.
We are.
And and you're confident in the qualifications and the capability of your staff to review the ordinance, to look at the investigative process, to put them both together to make sure that the policies and procedures that your staff will be using is adequate enough to get the job done, to do what you have been hired to do. You're capable, you're confident that your staff is competent enough, qualified enough, capable enough to review both the ordinance, the recommendations made by the collaborative group, and make recommendations to move this process forward in a way that is effective and efficient.
Wow. I am very, very confident in the staff being able to carry out its responsibilities based upon the directives from both the Department of Public Safety as well as this board.
Okay.
I will say that the ordinances, however, the ordinances that we have had to deal with since August the 9th of 2021, I think it was, there have been some changes. There are a lot of complexities. And so I would not want to say what the staff is capable of doing in terms of interpreting the various aspects of the ordinances. And I would certainly continue to rely on the city councilor's office for those kinds of interpretations. But by and large, yes. And that was one of the reasons why I was so proud of the annual report, because it would give you and the public an opportunity to see just how qualified the staff members are and how willing they are to do the work outside of their defined job descriptions, because this office could not have done what it has managed to do up to this point if people were not committed to the work and willing to step outside of their defined roles to make sure we're doing the absolute best that we can do to carry out our duties and responsibilities and to support the board.
All right,
And that means
I'll
we
ask.
don't even have COB online yet, so.
All right, I'll ask board members if they have any questions to the deputy commissioner regarding the recommendations regarding the policy and procedure draft to include the recommendations made by the staff. And if you will put your hand up where I can see that, where I can just put your hand up, and then I will call on you, or we can go down. I'll tell you what, let's do this. Let's make
Can
it
we
easy.
hear what Barb has to say? Because she might have some legal kind of implications.
I'll just say short, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll just say short and sweet at the outset, and I'm here, I'm available, but I know that the city councilor has not responded to any of these proposed edits. And I think that that's required under section 14A. I did see Nicole Barden. I was copied on her responses, and I am in agreement with what she says in her email. And that being said, I'm just gonna remain here and
Well, now I've got to respond to that because
Okay.
if you'll notice on the recommendations, on our recommendations, the very first point, 1B, talks about I think it's section 4 of the governing ordinance. That's why I made the intro that I did. The ordinances deals with 2 separate sets of policies and procedures.
Right.
One for the board, the conduct of board business, the other for the conduct of investigations and professional standards inquiries. 2 separate things.
Yes.
The comment that Nicole Barton makes and directing your attention to 14A of the governing ordinances speaks to the board rules, does not speak to the professional standards inquiries. Therein lies a difference. And so I think
I'm gonna respectfully disagree on that point. I can read 14A, but I just
okay,
making that
go
point.
ahead. I mean, if that would be helpful, go ahead.
Would you like me to do that, Chairman?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
That's an
It says,
important point.
it says in the DFOB shall adopt rules to govern the proceedings and may thereafter amend, revise, or otherwise modify the rules. The DFOB, with the advice of the city councilor, shall prepare and adopt necessary rules, policies, and procedures for the conduct of their business and shall conduct themselves in accordance therewith. And I think that these policies and procedures certainly fit this description.
And I
It
think that's where we
specifically
disagree.
stated the board's rules.
Right.
It
I'm
does,
gonna,
look, take a look now and read section 4.
if I
Hey.
can, I've received the same information. I looked at the ordinance.
I can't
and
hear
it-
you, Reverend Gray.
and I am talking just as loud as I can, and I don't understand. It could be a conspiracy. Let me
I think I think it's yours, Ruby, not to be, but Reverend Gray, I can hear him better than I
I
could.
can hear everybody else.
Oh,
Yeah, it
man.
might be yours because I think everybody else can hear me pretty good. So let me
Oh,
let me
okay.
say this.
Then
let me
that's
say this.
that's what counts.
Yeah. Let me say this. I've read the ordinance too. And it is the opinion of the chair that the ordinance reflects the business, the governing, the policy, rules, policy, and procedure of the conduct of the board, not the staff. That's my interpretation and my understanding, is that we are talking about two different things. And we followed that policy when we prepared our proposed procedural rules. And that was enacted back in 2021. And at that time, we did submit our procedural rules, how we were going to govern ourselves. That was submitted, and that did have input from the city councilor. But it is not my understanding, nor is it my interpretation, that after the board approves policy and procedure, that we have to send it back. That was the collaborative process. That my understanding of the ordinance was that in the collaborative process, all of this goes to all of the people that we indicated: personnel, Department of Corrections, circuit attorney, city attorney, all those folks. But when it got back to us, that the DFOB had the final vote on this. Now, I'm gonna call for a vote tonight, and based upon the recommendations of the staff and the draft that has been submitted, I'm gonna call for a vote tonight. If it is approved, if the city or the city attorney wants to come back and write us a letter and say we violated something, then so be it. But my understanding as the chair is what I just indicated.
I see a lot
but thank
of,
you.
I see a lot of, I'm sorry.
No, I was going to say, but your disagreement, Barbara, obviously has been duly noted in the record.
Thank you. And I do see a lot of references to the DFOB and what they do in the policy and procedures, but yeah, and also this whatever's adopted is subject to approval by the Director of Public Safety as well. So, you know, I would, you know, I would certainly urge caution on the front end to get past these issues, but I am not a voter. I'm just, and I thank you for noting my concerns.
Of course. And I think on the front end, as you said, I mean, if the ordinance has indicated that after the DFOB makes its decision, then it's got to be approved by the Director of Public Safety, and then that's going to pose another problem anyway. Because if in fact that's the case, the city can look for my resignation later on this week. Because I'm having a problem with every time the board gets to a point where it's making a decision as an oversight entity, that we have to go back to the same party that oversight is being asked to be given. And this is not to you, Barbara, this is just in general. Then I'm going to have a major problem if in fact the board makes a decision tonight and whatever we decide, we've got to get approval for it. Then that's going to be a problem.
That remark wasn't meant to be provocative. I'm looking at section 4A, paragraph 1 of the new ordinance 71749. Again, it wasn't meant to be a provocative statement. I was just looking at this ordinance.
Oh, no. And Barbara, and not taken from you to be provocative at all. But once I take a look at that ordinance again, and if it spells out that any action taken by this so-called oversight board that we have to get permission, that we're going to have to go back and get permission after we've come through the collaborative process that included the Department of Public Safety. And now we've got to go back and get permission, then that's going to be problematic for me personally. I can't speak for the other board members. I'm only speaking for myself. That's going to be highly problematic for me, because then there's no sense in having an oversight board.
Reverend Gray, just to complete the record, since Barbara Burkett did read in section 14A, I'd like to read into the record section 4, 1A, at least relevant provisions, and section 4, 1 is entitled Promulgate Rules and Procedures for Conducting Inquiries. And it specifically notes, in consultation with the Commissioner of Police, Commissioner of Corrections, Civilian Oversight Board, Personnel Director, and Circuit Attorney. There's no mention of City Councilor in this provision regarding the promulgation of rules and procedures for conducting inquiries.
But it further says, Ruby,
It goes on to say, it talks about the rules and procedures providing for the immediate notification of the Civilian Oversight Commissioner, Director of Public Safety, Circuit Attorney, and Police Commissioner and their respective designees that a police incident or detention incident has occurred. So,
Yeah,
so those are the people who we're supposed to notify. And then this section 4, under the new
Ruby,
ordinance,
Ruby,
talks
Well,
about
Pam, I'm going to
the
get you next. Pam, I'm going to get
promulgation
you next.
of the rules.
she's left out something real important
I
that's
just
got to
needed
be
to
in
get
there.
that
Pam,
point in
as
the
soon as she
record,
finishes, I'll give you
because
an
that
opportunity
is
to
the
correct.
staff's recommendation. I'm done.
Yes, Pam, you have the floor.
Also in that paragraph, after she read all the people she needs to coordinate with, it says, and subject to approval by the Director of Public Safety.
Yeah, we said that.
That's
Yes, that's noted in the recommendations that the Public Safety Director has to approve it. The issue is whether the City Councilor needs to review after promulgation. That's the issue.
That was the issue. The other thing that Barbara mentioned that she brought up with the ordinance, as I indicated, that's a personal problem for me. That's what I indicated. I was only speaking for myself. I wasn't speaking on behalf of the board. So I wanted us to be clear about the city councilor's role in this. That if the ordinance says it has to go back to the director of public safety, that's one thing. It does not indicate that it has to go to the city councilor. That was my issue. All right, I'm going to go down the row and ask if board members have questions of the deputy commissioner regarding the procedures, policy and procedures. And I'll go down the list as we have called the roll. And so first, James Darm.
No questions.
Thank you, James. Hillary Stuckey.
No.
Okay. Pam Walker.
I have a few things.
Okay.
One, I don't have a big problem with the policies and procedures as submitted through Nicole's office. I don't have a problem with the changes that Ruby is asking for. I do have a problem with the process. Why wasn't the Civilian Oversight Commission involved since May in developing these policies? And now we're here with them saying they're not workable. And
I can speak to that.
And two, if we amend it now, it will stall our ability to conduct investigations for another 6 months. Because under section 4, it has to go back to all of those people that participated in the process to begin with for their input. I just want to comply with the ordinance so we can move on. And if we can move on under the policies and procedures as submitted by Nicole's office, I can support that. And I would suggest that we take the staff recommendations back through the process. And once there's agreement on those, they come back to us as amendments to those policies and procedures so that we can move forward. And, you know, the next time we meet, get an actual report on investigations that have been conducted with some recommendations and findings. I think these changes are just going to get us back into a loop of everyone involved taking another 6 months to get us. And you know, I agree with you, Reverend Gray. We should be able to just adopt these and have them be what we think they should be. However, that's not what the ordinance says. And it's not something we have control over. If the Director of Public Safety says to the Deputy Commissioner that they are to stand down until all of those people have an opportunity to review our amendments, then she'll have to stand down. And that's just the reality of the situation. If we adopt what they presented to us, there's no excuse for us not to be able to conduct investigations starting tomorrow.
May I speak to your initial
Yeah, you
premise,
have the floor
Secretary
to, you have the floor to
Walker?
respond. You have the floor to respond.
I just want to respond to her first question, which I think is pretty valid. Director Coyle bifurcated the responsibilities of the commissioner's duties when I was asked to take over the day-to-day operations of the division. Nicole Barton, as Executive Director for Criminal Justice Coordinating Council, was asked very specifically to address the collaboration on the policies and procedures, which had been determined to be non-compliant, and secondly, to coordinate the orientation and training. And so to answer your question, I was not invited to participate in those policies and procedures, which I welcomed. You know, I thought it was a very good decision on the director's part to do that after the abrupt resignation of the former commissioner. So, and I think that Ms. Barton and I worked very well to establish the protocols we would rely upon to get that done. I'm reading the ordinance obviously differently. If in fact the city councilor is on record as saying that what Secretary Walker has interpreted as the ordinance saying, then I guess we'll have to go with that. But I don't read this section at all in saying that every time the board wants to adopt or amend policies and procedures that govern investigation of professional standards inquiries, then we're still going to wind up with the same result, because you're setting a precedent then that every change has to go back through the collaborative process, when it's very clear to me that promulgation, initial establishment of rules and procedures, is quite different than modification of those rules. That's my position, and then I'm done, because I'm not wanting to act as the lawyer for the board.
Amen. And once again, is one of the reasons why we felt that having our own lawyer would be extremely helpful. And I think that as a board, based upon these types of conversations, we continue to believe that we need to have our own, and no disrespect, obviously, to Barbara. Barbara's done a fantastic job, and it's not about the individual, but we believe based upon principle, and so that people don't question the integrity of what we're trying to do, that an independent counsel is important. And I do want to let the board, before I'm going to keep my, Tom was after Pam, I'm sorry. I'll keep my comments to the end. Tom?
I don't have any questions.
Okay. Juanita, did you get on? I just want to go back then to just kind of cap this off. We discussed this process as a board months ago. So the fact that the staff is giving us their recommendations at the end is not new. Months ago, we said that after the collaborative process, that that document would go to the staff before it came to the board. And so that's always been my understanding of the process and how it would work, which is why I asked the deputy commissioner to send the recommendations. And actually, it's why the staff received the draft before the board received it, because that was the process that we agreed on. And that was my understanding of it. And if the staff is saying to us, the people who are going to be responsible for doing the work, that in the draft that they have received, there are areas of the draft that are problematic for them to do their job, then why would they not then be asked to make recommendations in order that they can do their job more effectively and more efficiently, and then present the draft document with those recommendations to the board for our final review and approval. That's what I understood from the beginning would be the process for all of this. I do share Pam's concern, Secretary Walker's concern, that if we agree tonight to accept the Detention Facility Oversight Board policy and procedures to include the staff recommendations, I think that they need to tell us it's problematic. They need to say, oh no, this can't work, and why. When I say they, the administration. I think that if we follow the ordinance, we've gone out of our way to follow the ordinance as a board. We've done everything, including things we disagreed with, to follow not just the ordinance, but things that were outside of the ordinance. We lost good board members because of it. And so here we are at a juncture where the board has been called upon to make a decision so that we can move forward. And as the deputy commissioner said, they've already been working, they've already been investigating. They now have an opportunity, they've had an opportunity to interview a detainee, so they're moving forward with that. I would suspect, based upon the procedures that we've already agreed on. And so I'm inclined, and as I said, I'm going to look at the ordinance again, and if in fact it says that after we rule after we as a board take action, that it's got to be approved by the Director of Public Safety, then either the Chair of Public Safety is going to tell me that that is going to be changed in a new ordinance, or I'm resigning, because there's no way that I'm going to continue to operate where everything that we do, we need to get approval. That does not make us, we're not independent. We understand that. But what oversight do we have if we have to continue to go to the administration for them to approve what they have not supported? And so I'm in favor of the policy and procedures that have been given to us, with the addition of the staff recommendations. I'm making that very clear from the beginning. I think that we need to put the ball back in their court. And if they want to stall it again, then they're going to have to respond to the public as to why they stalled this process. But I say, let's put it back. Let's give our staff the tools to work, put it back in the hands of the administration, and let them show beyond a reasonable doubt that they either support what we're doing or they don't. That's my position. And so I'm going to ask, is there a motion to accept the Detention Facility Oversight Board policy and procedure with the recommendations from the staff? Is there a motion to accept?
I would request that we divide the question, that the first motion be to adopt the changes. And then however that motion goes, the second motion be to adopt the final document.
I will accept that. We as a board, I think that we've always strived to work with each other to try to find some consensus. So I will, as chair, I'll ask for a motion to accept the Detention Facility Oversight Board policies and procedures as have been presented through the collaborative process. Is there a motion?
Wait, I think that's backwards. I think we need to vote first on adopting amendments to that. So we would have to vote first on the staff changes. So I would make a motion that well,
Okay.
I'm not going to make the motion, but somebody needs to make the motion that we accept the staff change.
Well, Secretary Walker, you're doing a great job in helping us out. If are you going to?
I just like it to be legal. Okay.
I think that either way. I mean, I think either way it would have been fine. But I'm going to yield. I'm going to yield to my fellow board member, and I will entertain a motion to accept the staff recommendations.
So moved.
Thank you. That's been moved by James Don. Is there a seconder?
I second.
It's been seconded by Thomas Lawson. Let us then call the roll. Lord, I was looking at the old list. I'm sorry. James Darm.
Aye.
Hillary Stuckey.
Aye, I'm sorry.
That's okay. Pam Walker.
No.
Thomas Lawson.
No.
Juanita Lewis Walls. And so where it is 2-2, the chair votes yes. I get to break a tie. Isn't that interesting? The chair votes yes. Therefore, the recommendations from the staff have been approved. Now the chair will accept a motion to accept the Detention Facility Oversight Board policy and procedures. And this would include the staff recommendations. So I guess I don't have to say it. I won't say anything about staff recommendations on this motion. The chair will accept a motion to accept the Detention Facility Oversight Board policy and procedures that were submitted based upon the collaborative process. Is there a motion to approve?
I think you should add as amended by the board. So it's
As
clear.
amended by,
Yeah.
thank you, as amended by the board. Pam and I work so well together, even when we disagree. Is there a mover?
I'll make the motion.
Thank you, Pam. Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
Seconded by, the motion was made by Pam Walker, Secretary Pam Walker, seconded by Hillary Stuckey. I will call the roll. James Darm.
Aye.
Hillary Stuckey.
Aye.
Pam Walker.
Aye.
Thomas Lawson,
Aye.
Arnetha Lewis Walls. And as the chair, I'm going to vote aye. All right. Okay, that was brutally painful. Let's move on to public comments. I'll ask the staff to assist us in this regard. If the staff will identify those who wish to speak in this forum under public comments, and just to let the public know that they have 3 minutes. So staff, if you will identify any members of the public who wish to speak.
I see Mary Lou Webb.
Okay. Staff, can we get that person on? Mary Lou Webb, let me see if I can.
Yes. That's
Okay,
the only hand I see.
okay. Can we take Ms. Webb off of mute?
She has to unmute herself.
Okay. Ms. Webb, if you can hear us, you have to unmute yourself. I don't know how else to communicate with Ms. Webb. If anyone on the call knows Ms. Webb, if you can let her know, I'm going to hold up another minute to accommodate her. Are there any others while we're waiting on Ms. Webb to unmute? Anwar, is that the only one?
Only one I see that wants to speak.
Okay. I'm going to ask again. I want to always make sure that we afford every opportunity for the public to have an opportunity to speak. But there's some things that we cannot control. And if by the end of the meeting, Ms. Webb is able to communicate to us, then I will allow Ms. Webb to make comments before the end of the meeting if she's able to communicate to us. But I'm going to move forward with new business. One of the items under new business, we do have a vacancy.
Sorry, did I miss public comment?
Yep, but there you go. Now because we did ask folk to raise their hands, and that Ms. Webb was the only person. But Mr. Milton, we recognize you in the area of public comment.
Yeah. First of all, good to see some of y'all. Yeah, I just want to say that I just left a meeting with 12 people who were just recently released from CJC. Some of them as of last week. And when I say the stories that was told to me was absolutely gross, disgusting. And I would hate, even though I resigned from DFOB, I would be remiss if I did not raise these concerns again in public forum and to a board that's supposed to do something about it. One of the things that we heard was there was an inmate who had a seizure inside of the jail, inside of his cell, that he banged on the door, asking and begging for help. They had not checked on him. They're still doing 23-hour one. They call it 23-1, where they're still locked up for 23 hours a day. Some people are still being, the amount of times that someone said that they stuck a canister through the cubby hole just to spray inside unprovoked in that room was outlandish. And so as we continue to have conversations, I listened to the beginning of it about the rules and procedures. I don't want us to lose the urgency of the now. They're still being happening in this jail today. And I also understand that there was a private tour that we did not hear about. Y'all might have talked about it while I was not on. I'm sure y'all didn't see these things. Also, last week at the CJCC meeting, the people who were on the public health board, they said that there was a backlog that they just started in December of medical requests. People for months had not been seen. and on backlog. And so I'm interested, as now a public person, I'm interested on where's the urgency? What's going to happen? Are we going to hear real, what's really happening, including the private conversations that's happening between some DFOB members and the investigators and whoever? Are we going to keep this at the forefront so that people can be alive? I was absolutely astonished to hear that people were on this backlog for days and months before they had been seen. Astonished to hear that, right? And so I wanted to raise that as a problem. I do not think that we can get into the mundane of trying to figure out. I mean, I left the board because it's very clear that they're not going to allow the board to function the way that it's supposed to, especially members who they deemed as people who they're not supposed to listen to. That's clear to me. And so I just want to make comment that we're not going to stop. The organizers are not going to stop. We're going to continue to fight. We're going to fight against the conditions of this jail. And we're going to hold DFOB accountable too for the ways in which they have private meetings and not allowing this information to get to the public.
Right. Thank you very much, Mr. Milton. We appreciate it. I would just like to ask anyone, any member of the public, any organizations, if you have information regarding anything that you feel is happening within the CJC, please submit that information to the staff so that the staff can follow up. I think it's great to meet with people. I think it's great to get information. But if we don't have the information, if the staff doesn't have the information, then the staff cannot follow up. So I'm just asking of not simply Mr. Milton and his organization, and they do a great job, and we all know that, and we applaud them for the work that they're doing. But at the same time, I would urge any individual, any organization, we know that through the new ordinance, complaints can be made third party. And so if there is information, if there are allegations, concerns, please contact the staff and allow the staff to take that information that they can begin an investigation. And that's how we operate. That's how we operate. So I would simply ask, anyone that's listening, individuals or organizations, any information that you have, please forward that information to our staff that they would move forward. And so thank you very much. And is anybody else in public comment? Were we able to contact Ms. Webb?
I sent her a message and I asked her to unmute and she still has not yet. I'm not sure if she doesn't know how to or not able to, but I did make attempts to get her to do so.
Okay, I appreciate it.
Can I ask another question? What is the conditions of the jail?
Mr. Milton, the public comment is 3 minutes. When you talk about that's a very broad question, and I'm not going to subject board members to try to answer, a broad question. I think that we all, as board members, continue to agree without us going back and forth. We agree with you that the conditions, and we're not disputing anything that you've said, because we all know that there are things going on. I think that.
And what are those things, Rev Gray?
Say it again.
What are those things?
No, what you just mentioned. But we cannot. We have to be able to prove it through a process. And all I'm asking, because I agree with you, there has to be urgency. So what I'm asking is that if that information is given to the staff, then we can, your organization, what we're doing with DFOB, others can then push it, because then it's in the system. And that's
aren't you getting information from the jail? Isn't the staff getting information from the jail about the conditions of the jail?
As
Chairman, can I step in for a second? I think we're deviating from what we're supposed to be doing at this point.
You're right.
I thought that we were supposed to hold people to 3 minutes. I thought that this point was where statements were made and not questions, banter back and forth.
No, I can banter as much as I want to.
No, Michael, Mr.
No, I'm not on the board anymore. You can't shut me up anymore, Gray.
No, but
Yeah.
3
If
minutes.
you have information about the jail,
Okay.
it is your responsibility to hold the jail accountable.
Michael,
If you have information about the jail, it's your responsibility to hold the jail accountable,
And
and we
if
expect that.
we
The
did,
public
okay.
expects that. The
Okay.
families expect that.
Michael,
The people
Michael,
detained
with all
expect
due
that.
respect, I'm
With all due
respecting you.
respect.
I'm
With all due, when
respecting
you
you,
get done,
and I've given
it
you,
is your
I've given you more.
responsibility.
You
Mhm.
gonna let me talk?
Yeah.
Okay. Tom is right. And so I don't want to do anything outside of what we've agreed to do. We've given that time. At the end of it in new business, I'll take an opportunity to respond to your question, but we can't go back and forth. So I want to respect that. I want to respect you, what your organization's doing, but Tom is right. We've got to respect the process here. So thank you very much. And at the end, I'll make my comment. Thank you, Tom. Under new business, we do have a vacancy. And so for vice chair, and at this time, we've declared the seat vacant. So I would like to ask if there are nominations from the board for vice chair. We will accept them at this time.
Pick me, pick me. I have a nomination.
Pam,
I would like to nominate Hillary Stuckey.
Hillary
She has a
Stuckey.
great deal of experience in both the prosecutor's office, the correction system, the state systems, the city systems, and she has a lot of insight into how things work or don't work, or how they could work and how they could be improved. And I just think she would just be invaluable as vice chair to help lead us through this maze of obstacles so that we can get results that truly address the conditions of the jail.
Hillary Stuckey's name has been nominated. Ms. Stuckey, do you accept the nomination?
Can I just be honest? I just hearing everything tonight, I just feel like we're going in circles. And I would hate to take this and do a disservice for anybody, because I mean, I come from all sides, as Pam noted. And so to take a position knowing that I'm gonna get blocked, that's where I have an issue. I want to be able to say and hold people accountable. So I can't accept it to this point, because we don't even know, like we said earlier, about if we're going to go around about again, if we accept this policy, if we're going to, have a gatekeeper on this end. And so until that part of it, I don't feel comfortable accepting that unless we're able to do our jobs. I mean, we went a year with going through trainings. And so I don't feel comfortable accepting it at this time, unless we can get some actual movement going. And I don't know if we have to fill the position this evening, but I just don't feel comfortable not knowing and having a lot of, we're not on the same path with everybody. And I'm still kind of curious as to how the board has been created, and we keep getting stopped at every door that we come to. And because I have been in different entities throughout the city, I want to make sure that if I take the position, that I'm willing to take it full force and hold people accountable for what they're supposed to be doing inside the jails. And so unless somebody can tell me tonight, hey, now that we've got these policies in place and we can go forward and the staff can do their job, I wouldn't feel comfortable, because I am for what I signed up for. It was to make sure that what's going on inside is fair. And so we haven't been able to do our job quite yet. I appreciate the nomination. I do, but I don't know. And I don't know if other people feel comfortable even voting on it tonight, or do we have to? Do we have to feel that
We don't have to tonight.
I just think that we should I personally would feel comfortable us waiting in general until we get past, if we have to go through something else with Director Coyle if we can even move forward. I don't think that I would do a service to the community by accepting, and then I can't help, because I got on this board to be able to help, and I feel like there's nothing that has been done. And I'm a person that is an advocate for the right thing. And I know what the complaints have been even before I got on this board. And so I don't know if I can make a motion or something for us to wait on this agenda, on this part of the agenda for the evening.
No, if based upon your comment, if Pam is prepared just to withdraw her nomination, and board members have no objection, then we can take this off of the agenda under new business, and we can revisit this.
Please, and I appreciate the nomination. I think that after even all the conversation tonight with the policies, procedures, I just think it would be best that we move that to a different day until we can get past this.
Okay. Pam, are you prepared to withdraw your nomination?
Yes, I think Hillary's comments tonight,
Very
reinforce my,
thought she was gone.
my reason for nominating her in the first place, with her insight and commitment and passion about what we're supposed to be doing. So yes, if that's her wish, I'll withdraw the nomination, and we can see what happens and visit it again at our next meeting.
I really appreciate it, Pam, though. I truly do. But I just think for
I
everybody,
appreciate you.
that it would be a good thing if we just waited after we got to this point.
Agreed.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, we're at the end. I guess that the last thing is that we will be submitting the action that we've taken, that'll be submitted to Director Coyle as soon as we can put the two together. I have asked Director Coyle for a meeting this week. I did indicate to him that it is imperative that we meet this week. We do want to follow that up with hearing back from the staff regarding how we're going to receive as a board case file information. So the board will share that with us. We are going to find out from Ms. Barton how soon we can get James that final training, to do that as soon as possible. And I'm going to be very clear to the board, and I'm saying this to the board, and that if there is any hesitation from Director Coyle regarding these recommendations, then I will see that as my final act. I do agree that we're 2 years into this. I will be speaking to Alderman Aldridge and President Green's office. Again, they were extremely helpful in the ordinance, the amendments to the ordinance, but obviously there's still work to do on that ordinance. If the ordinance now has become where the DFOB is more restricted, then that's not what the amendments were intended to do. And if that has become the case, then that needs to be revisited through President Green's office and the Committee for Public Safety and the Alder people who are working with us, all who have made it very clear that they want accountability and transparency. I am going to ask for a meeting with the ward representatives in CJC and board members. And I'm saying ward representatives because that's the detainees, not the staff. And so that is a meeting that we are going to request, that board members have an opportunity to meet with people who are being housed in the detention center, not the people who are charged with housing them. And in that, I think that we'll be in a better position to talk about conditions in CJC based upon talking to detainees versus staff and administration. And then finally, again, I would reiterate that we ask individuals and organizations that if you have information of situations, incidents that have taken place that have been unconstitutional, unfair, unjust, inappropriate, please forward that information to staff that a proper investigation can be conducted so that we as a board will be in a better position to pronounce on conditions and cases and not speak just based upon information that has not been corroborated. And so with that, is there any other new business to come before the board? Yes, Pam.
Reverend Gray, just a clarification. The only place I see in the ordinance that requires the Director of Public Safety's approval of anything that we do is those investigation protocols. Very specific. It's very specific to that. And when we get into actually getting investigation reports and staff recommendations about what to do, about their findings, then nobody has any right to approve anything that we decide to do as far as corrective actions and recommendations for how to improve situations in the facility.
Thank you,
I
Pam.
don't see that. I see a place where if we do other rules, policies, do we not do Robert rules? We want to do something else. We need to consult with the city councilor's office, but they don't have veto power.
Right.
So, that I think it's pretty narrow where the public safety has to approve what we do. And it's under that investigation piece.
Okay. Thank you, Pam. And again, I know that board members have read it. Once again, we're not lawyers. And so any other new business, I think we do need to schedule our next meeting. Barbara, please forgive me. This is a new year. What Mondays are you not available?
The fourth Monday of the month, I have the hearings at the Historic Preservation Board. All are welcome. But
Oh, a shameless plug. Thank you very much.
Robert, do they have any openings on that board?
oh gosh,
Hey, say no, Barbara. No openings. No. Hey, listen.
I was thinking,
Tom, if I have to stay, you have to stay. Can we look at the third Monday in February unless something comes up prior that where we need to meet immediately, but as a monthly meeting, can we look at February 19th for our next meeting?
Is that a city holiday? It's President's Day.
Is it? Oh, it sure is. Is it a city holiday? Do y'all get President's Day? I don't know. Barbara?
I don't know. I could check that on the website just to be certain. But
If you don't mind.
Yes, it
I'm
is.
looking at the
It is.
city's payday schedule and it is indicated as a holiday.
I'd like to based upon, this is a new year and we're talking about policy and procedure. We're beginning to move forward. Board members, can I recommend February the 12th? I mean, if we're going to,
that's fine with me.
okay, that is a Monday, and that'll give us an opportunity to push and get answers to some of the questions that were raised in public comments, Hillary's concerns, the training piece. It kind of puts us in a position where, it's the beginning of the year. Let's try to get some stuff done more sooner than later. So can we agree on February 12th? Any objections? February 12th, next DFOB meeting? And I will be on time. I don't know why in my head I was thinking 5:30, but it's 5 o'clock. That was my fault. That was me. All right. So DFOB meeting, the 12th of February, at 5 o'clock with no objections. Then is there a motion to adjourn?
I move to adjourn.
It's been probably moved as a seconder,
Second it.
probably moved in second. All in favor, say aye.
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 That was pretty quick. I like being around you guys. All right. All opposed? Nay. I want 5 more minutes with you guys. All right. Thank y'all very much. And we'll be in touch with everybody. We'll follow up with all of the information. And thank you for a very productive meeting. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.